Let's get to it. Let's do something a little bit different. Anon, a self-proclaimed loamer, manages to convince his parents much sooner in his high school career that rock bottom is no longer for him anymore, and starts his beginning of a senior year at Volcano High. Naomi, a nerdy, preppy, albeit self-conscious star student, has just been voted class president due to a technicality and is worried that the expectations she'll have to keep with such a role. When two such people themselves collide, do they stumble into a bigger hole they dug themselves in, or do they guide each other to their answer? And what happens if the answer is each other? By the way, 500 is 500? I don't know what that means, Senator, but I'm scared because you brought it up at all. Also, Scary Dave, I looked at your links. They're great. Thank you. Hugs, kisses, pat-pats, everything else. Oh, it's only one chapter. This is the start. Posted just a few days ago. Hello again. I had this idea on a whim, and it interested you so much that I just had to act on it. Well, good for you. That's why I'm writing that stupid story about the birds, which isn't even done. It's in scaffolding. I don't even know if I'm keeping much of it, because again, it's just self-indulgent world-building garbage. The whole story happened by accident and may not persist. This sounds like an NTR type fic. We're skipping this because there's an image up here, and you can see that image yourself by finding the link of Scary Dave and going there yourself. In fact, let me post it in the fucking comments so you can take a look yourself. You bingus. Oh. Running. That was all I'm doing in the moment. Forget the conduct marks. Forget the hit to my grade. I'm not going back. I can't take it anymore. I can't. NTR mentioned? Oh shit, was? No, it's dorks in love, dorks, romance, falling in love. I don't know, it sounds sweet to me. But if I'm wrong, hey. Garbs was summoned by the mentioning of NTR, Jesus. Even with how unfit I am and ran all the way back home. School barely started that morning, and yet I immediately wanted to go back. Mom tried to reason, but I wasn't going to listen. I wasn't budging. Dad tried to force me. So much that did. The next words that left his mouth were scathing, dripping with real lethality. But the content of those words? Big Nasser watch. Hey, we gotta do it at some point, buddies! Also, I think something went wrong and the cropping isn't working properly, but why is the cropping not working properly? Oh, because it's not wide enough, isn't it? Yep, there you go. It was running on a different screen. Everyone please pretend that didn't happen. My eyes finally opened, half-lidded. Hold on, we need Skin Row Soul for this. This is Skin Row Soul to the T. There you go. Love that sousaphone! My eyes finally opened, half-lidded. The soft droning noise emanating from my phone slowly started to rise in pitch and the volume the longer I neglected the source. Even as a god-deafening, I let it continue to dig my head and for whatever reason I could come up with. Maybe to wake up faster, or to give myself further incentive to turn it off. In reality, I knew the answer. I'm just lazy. It's exactly why I said it an hour before I had to leave to school. I don't know, I feel like before is the emphasis word here. Just a really minor comment, but had, and now before I had to go to school. Because it's not that he has to go to school, we know that. It's the emphasis that it's an hour before. Nitpick, but that's how I do it. Because if I had said it on time, I mean, to be fair, I do this stuff too. Because if I had said it on time, I'd waste every last second I had just to stay in bed as long as possible, risking running late. I mean, you gotta let it sink in instead of thinking about it too hard or you'll break it. I remember Mom telling me how I had to take this seriously, that I need to look past everything that happened the year prior. How she thinks I'll manage that, no idea. She saw firsthand what I was dealing with and what it did to me, and all of a sudden I'm just supposed to forget all that? That feels like a question, but I don't know. Fat fucking chance. 'Cause this is the answer to that question. I'm supposed to forget it all. Oh no, I read it wrong. That's my fault. There's a part of me that feels as though I should be glad. To an extent, I am. I'm not there anymore, and I never have to go back. But back when I made that plead, I had so many different things in mind. I knew another school in the area was probably in the know of what I had done, and those were immediately crossed out of my mind. But I maybe could have been homeschooled? Dad was adamant in the military. I could have just sucked it up. The second they start doing the reverse tango eject. There is a section at the bottom of the screen you can't see that exists for this exact purpose, my man. It's not my first option, but I'd rather have something Rather have something than be a bum in the streets with nothing to my name. Though not that I changed much. Already got nothing to me. Even less now with what I did, which can be attributed to character assassination. But now here I am, in an apartment my dad pitched in to pay rent for only as long as the school year lasts, in the middle of dino territory. As if being placed miles away from home wasn't bad enough. The only solace I have is my shoddy computer and my other video game console. Hold on, I'm gonna save you guys the pain of potential oh no's by increasing the cropping of the bottom. You are now protected. Okay, so we're about middle of the screen. But now here I am, in an apartment my dad pitched in to pay rent for only as long as the school year lasts in the middle of dino territory. As if being miles away from home wasn't bad enough, the only solace I have is my computer and my other video game console. And my other console vidya. Weird. What are you, Spanish or French? I finally decided the alarm had enough life to it, and immediately went to turn it off. Decided to read the date built into my phone in some faux hope that I was dreaming. That summer would last forever and I didn't have to prepare for anything. Just vidya and shitposting, what I've always been meant for. September 4th, 21st... Oh, wait, what? September 4th, 201,000,2019 BC. 2019 instead of 21. Rap to Jesus. Still disappointed even though I knew it was today? Why the hell would I have an alarm then? Again, I just had this baseless hope that I would not have to get up and enter uncharted waters, in which I would probably have to deal with a completely different subset of antagonism. Dang, I like this guy's word choice. I decide to put together a shitty bait post to give myself an extra boost to get up. Eventually, I decide to just cobble up some old drama about dino and island violence. It isn't just enough they want us, it's just us. I shove my phone into my pocket, rubbing my temples, simultaneously throwing my legs to the side of the bed, immediately standing. Holy shit, he's not standing slowly. This Anon's got some pep in his step. Getting a bit dizzy from doing all that simultaneously. You simultaneously twice. Gonna have to dock a point. You're a 9 out of 10, buddy. Careful. Goes fast. Grasping onto my deck to stabilize myself before I fell onto my bed. Oh, before I fell into my bed. Dang, I've been stuck in bad reading so long, I'm like, ugh. Grasping onto my deck to stabilize myself before I fall back to bed. To be expected, I have the build of a skeleton while eating healthily as a Victorian child. Sighing, I take my hand that is still resting on the side of my face, and the other propping me up to rub my eyes fervently. Odd phrasing, you might not want to break up that sentence fragment, just saying. Blue and red spots blinding me once I finish the assault, and take the chance to open them again. For the final... So is Anon, like, 2 years younger? Or, like, is he in the other class? Or did we just shift the dates for some reason? Dinosaur COVID? For the final act, I simply run my hands across my face, starting from my forehead and ending near my bottom lip. Damn, I'll be honest, I can feel this wake-up routine. I can feel Anon suffering. And just not being in the mood. This is how you drag out a scene to just communicate that Anon does not want to go anywhere. Damn. For the final act, I simply run my hand across my face, starting from my forehead to my bottom lip, shaking my head to finally drive out all the morning exhaustion. Throw some water in your face and do some stretches, man. That's the best way to do it. If I have to deal with interaction, exhaustion later, I might as well rid myself out of anything else that will have me utterly withered by the time I come back home. I mean, he says until the end of the school year, so I imagine he's still a senior, just a few years earlier. Quickly, I power walk over to the best room to get fresh. The best room. I'm walking over to the best room to get freshened up. Not that I really care about how I look. I just don't want to stand out. Who am I kidding? Who the fuck am I kidding? I'm probably the only human here in that meteor dodger infested school. Mom tried to convince me that it might be a nice change of pace for me. Who knows what the hell she meant? Because I sure as fuck didn't. I know I'm being a bit paraphrasy here, but that's because my brain is just gonna trip and stumble and stutter if I don't. It's the thought that matters. I'm not being corrective for the nature of it. Regardless, the least I can do is basic hygienics, and the mirror didn't show me having anything I didn't see before. After washing my face with ice-cold water, brushing my teeth with the shitty toothpaste that'll probably have the same effect as just not opening my mouth ever, and putting on some off-brand deo that'll last 30 minutes, I slap on my dirty sneakers and patchy jacket. Jesus! This Anon is worse off. What happened to him? Typically, the first days don't need anything. Either way, there's nearly a 0% chance that I'm ever using any of the supplies Mom stuffed into my bag. Fuck it. Might need to jot down a password. Or something I might exploit later if I catch wind of anything and I will be able to use to my benefit. I shuffle around to shake it. Backpack? Check. I ran my head over my head. Loser? Check. Ah, that's... Love it. Love how the sentences are similar lengths so they line up nicely. I love visual sentence structuring. Makes me want to flex in front of the mirror. Good to go. Exiting the apartment, I shuffle around my pocket for the keys I'd nearly forgotten about. Yeah, because you're in charge of the house now, buddy. And lock the door behind me, walking down the short steps leading to it afterwards. Starting the decently long trek over to school. What house are you in? Why does your apartment have an... Are you in what? My new school. As I sluggishly dragged my feet all along the way. Midway through, I took note of all the flora in the new environment I found myself in. Coastal region. Dad gave it a big whoop. Hold on, is the volume set for this right? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm tankering with stuff in other places. Hold on, I need a drink. Coastal region. Dad gave it a big whoop, and a small part of me did have a natural intrigue. But now that I've been here for a few weeks, the only notable thing about it is how fucking gross it feels all day. I'd be lucky for it to just feel hot. More often than not, it's stuffy as all hell, and I feel like I'm boiling in a fucking sauna. And the air feels thick and sometimes smells of salt water. It's also my first time walking to school. Mom typically being the one to pick me up and drop me off. So I think that, in the world where Shelonians exist, like the bird species, they live in mountains and the colder climes. A lot of them live above the Arctic Circle. And there's a bit more emphasis on, like, the equator is mostly inhabited by dinosaurs. It's just how it works out, because humans don't like being there. Just like dinosaurs can put on warm clothing to go to colder climes and kind of make do, so too can Shelonians by putting ice in their gizzard or putting on cooling vests. They also have a process called adaptation, which is the functional equivalent to subjecting yourself to an awful situation just so you can take warmer temperatures a bit better. It is not recommended if you're sticking around for a day or two, because it involves a shit ton of vomiting. It sucks. Only plus to this part of the world is that when it hits night, it actually gets a bit cold. I always love the cold. Being hot is miserable. Well, when it's cold, I know I can wrap up it a bit and make it less miserable. I walked in the cold for 3 hours, Anon. Shut up! You can only... I mean, to be fair, it was a nice cold. You can only get so naked, and there's no way in hell I'm taking this jacket off, even if it's stained to high hell. Oh, I only know this because I had to make a few emergency runs. Is there anyone chatting, or is it just quiet? Because you were all very chatty earlier. I only know this because I had to make a few emergency runs for food a week or two ago. So, summer just ended. But I got the impression that he was at school first, and then he got, I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not important for the story anyway.